Everyone, in this session, we are going to understand the basics of deep learning. Deep learning is one of the most important technologies behind the modern artificial intelligence. In this presentation, first we will understand what deep learning actually is. Then we will see why we need it and its advantages and disadvantages. How a deep learning models work and final. Wherever we use deep learning in this real world. So let's start with a section most basic question. What exactly is deep learning? What is deep learning? So deep learning is actually a subset of machine learning. The main idea is instead of manually telling to the computer which features are important, we are allowing the model to learn those features automatically from the data. For example, imagine we want a computer to recognize an image. In traditional programming or older machine learning approaches, we might manually define the features such as edges, shapes. So we need to define all those things to detect a cat or dog. So it is very hard for each image. But here the deep learning work differently. We give the model many examples of cat images and neural networks automatically learn the patterns from that images. So here I will explain the three examples, which is representation learning. So the first concept is representation learning. It means the model automatically discover the useful features from the raw data. Like we are giving the images. So it is known as the raw input. And layered abstraction. The second layer is called layer abstraction. Different layers learn different level of information. Early layers may simple patterns which deeper combines. But the patterns is more meaningful concepts. There are three types of layers. Imagine there is easy layer, medium layer and hard layer. We will explain this one into furtherly. So third thing is scale and compute. And finally, deep learning benefits from large amount of data and powerful hardware such as GPUs and TPUs. GPUs means graphical user interface. So we need to train the models, so we need more GPUs, so our work become easy. So now we can understand the what is deep learning is, so what it will do. So let's now move to the what of these advantages. So advantages of deep learning. First thing is automatically learning. Deep learning has become extreme powerful popular because it can solve problems they are difficult to handle using traditional approaches. Let's look some of the major advantages. The first thing is automatic feature learning. The first advantage is automatic feature learning. The model can learn important features directly from data instead of the acquiring humans manually. For example, in image recognition, the model can learn edges, text, shapes and even objects also automatically. In traditional approach, we need to give all these things in manually, but in deep learning it can learn automatically. And handling. So second advantage is deep learning can handle very complex problems involving the images, speech and text. So all this we can call as non-structured or unstructured data. And third thing is high accuracy, that we can save efficient high quality data and proper training model. Deep learning it can achieve excellent performing. So fourth thing is works with unstructured data. Another important advantage of deep learning works well with unstructured data such as images, audio, video and natural language. So we will learn how this extraction will work in further videos. And our modern AI. And finally, the deep learning is behind the many modern AI technologies include, which is computer vision, speech recognition, recommendation system and generative AI. Like nowadays the Netflix is also using that deep learning algorithm in behind the scene for the recommendation system. But deep learning is not perfect. Along with these advantages, it also have some important disadvantages. So what are those? So disadvantages of deep learning. So we can see the one side of deep learning. So we will look the another side of the disadvantage of deep learning. One, large amount of data. First, deep learning often requires a large amount of high quality of training data. For more complex, generally we need the for more learning efficiency. If we want more accuracy, we need to train the large amount of data. Next thing, high computing resource. Second, the deep learning requires significant computational power. Large models may need GPUs, TPUs or other high performance hardwares. Third thing is expensive. Training hardware. The another major challenge is that interpretability. Sometimes the model can give very accurate prediction, but it can be difficult to explain exactly why the model make particular decision in the neural network. So this is called the black box models, we can call this in deep learning. And long training time, finally the training large the complex modeling can take a significant amount of time. Like, so we know that deep learning is the, we see the advantage and disadvantage, but one question remains, so why it is called deep learning? So we will move further. So why it is called deep learning? Now let's understand why it is called deep learning. The word deep refers to the use of multi-layer in neural network. Each layer can learn from different level of representation from the input. For example, as we discuss, it is a low level. It means it can learn patterns from low level, which is like include edges and texture. Speech can learn basic sound of phenomena and patterns. This is for speech extraction. And mid level, so mid-level is the simple patterns into the more meaningful structure such as parts, objects, in object detection. So it will use mainly. And high level. Finally, deep layer can represents high level concepts such as complete object intent or meaning. So here that object detection and AI models are work is mainly all from learn from all these things. For excellent example, so I will give you, for example, imagine you are trying to recognize a cat. The first layer might detect edges and next layer might recognition shapes such as ears or eyes. Deep learning combines these features, recognition the complete object it is a cat or a dog. That's a basic idea behind the word deep mean deep learning. Why do we need deep learning? It's when we have already the tradition machine learning, but why we need deep learning? So first thing is scale. Today, we generate enormous large of data, such as images, audios, videos, text, such as many types of information. Writing manually rules for such a massive complex, it is extremely difficult. So second thing is performance. Performance, so the deep learning can learn very complex patterns and achieve excellent results of difficult tasks. For example, uh, performance is the one of the major challenge in the deep learning. And third thing is generalization. Suppose we need to model using thousands of cat images. We don't want to model to simply memorize those exact images. We want it and learn it from something to recognize as a cat and new cat images that is as never seen before, and ability to perform well on unseen data. It is called generalization. And fourth thing is automation. And finally, the deep learning provides the automation. Instead of manually creating the rules for every possible situations, we allow them to model to learn the useful patterns from data. Now, now why deep learning is useful? The next question is, how does actually learn? So this is the working engine of the deep learning, how it will work. First thing is input, next thing is hidden layer and output layer and back propagation. How does deep learning works? First we'll give the some data to and passes through the multiple layers. So imagine there in the right side there is an image. So each balls we can imagine it is a perceptron. It is used to passes through the neuron layer. So and each many perceptrons, it is called as then multiple layers in the deep learning. So here the data model prediction, then we check how correction prediction it is. The prediction is wrong, the model learns from the mistake and adjusts itself. So it is known as back propagation. So next thing is that how that model can improve. The model updates its parameter and tries again. That process happen repeatedly many times and training the examples. So that high level deep learning is a continuous cycle. Data is going is and prediction is made and error is calculated. The model learned from error, parameters are updated and process the repeats. Over many iterations, the model became the better recognition patterns and making predictions. So this is the actual flow of the deep learning. So which is data and forward to the passes and prediction loss and back propagation, and here it will decide how to optimize and improve the model until it will repeat. So this is the working engine for the how deep learning works. So next we will go to the how real world applications will work. So real world applications in we understand how concept and basic learning process. Now let's see the where deep learning actually used in the real world. First thing is computer vision. The deep learning is object detection, image classification, and image signification for driver assistance systems and medical analysis. So first, what is computer vision? So computer vision is the eyes which we are providing to the computer to see the real world. For example, when camera system detect a person, a car, or traffic signs, deep learning be a part of the system. And language and speech. The second area is the language and speech. The deep learning power applications such as machine learning transitions and text generation, conversation AI, and large language model. In industry and science, the deep learning is also used in industries and scientific research. Example includes the fraud detection, predictive maintenance, climate modeling, and geometry. This video, what we learn. So quickly summarize the what we learn. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So it uses the neural network which multiple layers to learn the to representation of data. So it is powerful because it can automatically learn features from handle complex and unstructured data to achieve the excellent performance. The basic learning is to understand doesn't goal is to make the prediction. The error is calculated and the model updated improve itself. So it is known as the back propagation we can learn. And today the deep learning uses everywhere for computer vision and speech recognition to generative AI, health, finance. So this gives the foundation we need before moving into neural networks and mathematical behind the scene in the deep learning. So thank you.